And we're back to the regularly scheduled programming of Are You Following Christ or Are You Carrying Stones? So let's discuss resurrection. Not just Christ's resurrection, but what does it mean to have a resurrection within yourself? In Christianity, resurrection is not just a miracle story, it's a pattern. Death does not get the final word. The sealed place opens, the buried things rise, and what looked finished becomes transformed. And yes, I do believe in Christ's resurrection, but I also believe resurrection is something we are invited to live. Because Romans says we are raised to walk in newness of life. That's not just after we die, that's right now. Because sometimes the thing that needs to die is not your body, it's the version of you that you chose to become when you were trying to survive. Sometimes resurrection looks like addiction losing its grip. Sometimes it looks like choosing peace after years of chaos or finally allowing your nervous system to feel safety. And sometimes it just looks like old shame dying away. The old fear, dead. Old pattern, gone. The old need to punish yourself, nope. And then something new begins to breathe, not because you became perfect, but because you became willing to change. And this whole concept is not really a Christian thing. It spreads through timelines, religions, spiritual practices. That's the whole thing. Transformation. Now, I'm not saying every religion teaches the exact same thing. Obviously they don't. But many spiritual traditions recognize a pattern. The old self must be surrendered. The false self must be seen. The attachment must loosen, the ego must soften, and the soul must finally awaken. Buddhism talks about suffering, craving, and liberation, while Hindu traditions talk about moksha, freedom from the cycle that keeps the soul bound. Mystery traditions told stories of descent and return, seeds going into darkness before they grow, the moon disappearing before it becomes full again. The whole world keeps preaching resurrection. We just keep pretending that our version is the only language of God ever learned. And that's when people lose me. Because faith should humble you, not make you smug or self-righteous. When someone says, my religion is the only path God could ever use, I want to ask, who made you the ultimate authority? Who told you God was smaller than your denomination? And who also told you that divine truth only speaks one accent? Because for me, Jesus is the blueprint. He is the way I understand divine love. But that does not mean I have to mock every other tradition that also notices suffering, surrender, death, renewal, and liberation. Maybe God has been whispering the pattern everywhere. Maybe resurrection was never supposed to be a private trophy. Maybe it was supposed to be a universal invitation. And this is why resurrection matters for healing. Because you can't become new while worshiping a cage you're in. If you are healing from addiction or trauma, maybe religious fear or shame, even old survival patterns, then resurrection is not abstract. It's daily. Every time you choose differently, something rises. Every time you tell the truth, something rises. Every single time you refuse to hate yourself, again, something rises. And every time you put that stone down, something deep rises within you. Romans says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That means resurrection is not only an event, it's a process and a practice of becoming. Renew your mind. Be transformed. So yes, I believe Christ rose, but I also believe Christ calls us to rise. He calls us to rise out of fear, out of hatred, addiction, shame, and out of the need to condemn everyone else who sees God a little differently than we do. Because the resurrection question is not only, did it happen then? The question is it happening now? Are you becoming more loving, more free, more merciful, alive, or are you just guarding the tomb to your own death? That one hit deep. Are you guarding the tomb to your own death? Many of them are! So follow along for the rest of this series as we start investigating what faith actually looks like through transformation. And maybe comment below, what are you rising from today? And as always, ask yourself and everyone around you, are you following Christ? Or are you carrying stones? Put down the bag!